So to get this build started, you'll need to start ripping your 1x material. I like to start with my union. I need a 7x10 union for this small Mexican American flag, and because it is a small 13x24.5 inch flag, that means your individual stripes will be 1 inch. Make sure to cut enough for the strips in the back so that you can secure the flag together. Once you have the strips and the union cut out, go ahead and start carving the stars on your union. In my case, this is a custom flag, so they wanted a custom union. And before putting everything together, make sure you sand everything. So I want to take some time to explain how I cut the 7 stripes on the union area, or that are adjacent to the union. I take the 8th stripe and I make sure I line it up on the left hand side of the union, making sure that there's no space and everything is just lined evenly. And then I take the 7th stripe and I line it up to the union as well on the right hand side, and then I'll make a mark to where the 8th stripe ends. Here's a different angle. You can see the 8th stripe is lined up to the left hand side of the union, and the 7th stripe is lined up to the union on the right. I make sure everything is tight and put together, and once I am satisfied with that, I'll just make a mark at the end of the 8th stripe onto the 7th stripe, and I'll use that as my template for cutting the rest of them. Once I have that 7th stripe cut, I'll line everything back up just to make sure everything is fitting correctly. Once I'm satisfied with that, I'll grab the rest of the remaining 6 and cut according to this 7th stripe. Going back to the Mexican American flag, I flip everything over and I make sure that the union is on the right hand side, so that when I flip it back on the correct side, the union is on the left. So you can see here that I'm using the back strips and just using glue and brad nails to secure the flag together. I'll add the wire at the same time. Once I flipped the flag back over, I realized that I had some gouges in a couple of stripes, and that was my fault because I didn't pay attention to the stripe orientation. And so I tried to sand those out, but that didn't work. So before the glue set, I ended up taking the flag apart. Once I had the flag apart, I was able to cut new back strips and fix the orientation of those stripes and put it back together. Now with the flag fixed, I can work on the design of the flag and the layout. When I make my split on the Mexican American flag, I like to split the eagle, the Mexican eagle, in half. So what I'm trying to do is visualize where I would cut that eagle in half, where would I place it, and where would I cut it in half. Once I have that split line drawn, I like to divide the flag into thirds, starting with the green side first. I'll then take the stain and just stain right up to that split line that I drew earlier. With the green side finished, I like to divide the unstained area of the flag in half, giving me 2 equal sections for the white and the red stain. I like to start with the red side first. It's a little bit easier and more forgiving than the white stain. And you'll see here that I have the split marker that I drew earlier. I'll stain everything below or up to that line red. With the green and the red side now finished, I like to tape those sections off. That way we don't get any white stain in those areas. Unlike the green and the red sides of the flag where I used an old rag to stain those areas, I prefer to stain the white part of the flag using a foam brush. This allows for the stain to go on thicker and you're not taking stain off as you apply. After I applied the first coat, I let that nearly dry and I applied a second coat. When it came time to stain the American red stripes, I used 2 methods. I did a freehand on the upper half of the flag, and then I taped off the flag and used a tape method on the lower half. Moving forward, I will use the tape method. It's just a lot easier, even though there is more prep work up front. It's just less hassle and less worrisome that you'll accidentally stain a stripe that you're not supposed to. When using this tape method, use a box cutter or an X-Acto knife like I'm using here, and place the blade within the gap of the stripes, between the stripes. That way you get a nice clean cut. With the taping all done, you're now able to stain without worrying that you're going to get red on the white stripes. Just make sure not to get too much red on the green. Just make sure to go right up to that green line when you're staining. Once I'm finished with the staining, I'll let the stain dry overnight, and then I'll come back the next day and start torching the flag. I like to torch using this benzomatic butane torch. It just allows me to have more control over how much I am able to burn in a certain area. When you're torching, a tip is keep moving. Don't stop, because once you stop, you'll start to get burn marks or round burn in your flag, and that's what you don't want. So just keep moving, keep it steady. Even if you have to go over it several times, the more you go over it, the more that grain will pop. When it comes to the white part of the flag, you definitely want to go slow. In my experience, if you burn the white stain a little bit too fast, you start to get bubbling and it starts to peel, and that's what you don't want. You don't want it to peel, because then you'll have to reapply. You're just going to have to do a lot more work, and it's just not the same once it starts peeling. So definitely take this white section slower and steady. Make sure to go several passes. You're not going to be able to get it all done in one single pass. Moving on to the eagle now, I like to use the Mod Podge image transfer option or method. This is just the easiest way that I've found to transfer the eagle. I like to place the image of the eagle on the flag itself, lining up the eagle to where the split should be, or where I think it should be. Once I have it aligned to where I like it, I'll then make a mark on the back of the paper with pencil, and that'll be my cut mark. So I'll cut on that line, but then I'll also cut around the eagle itself. I like to get rid of most of this paper because the Mod Podge will transfer some of that glossiness from the paper. Once I have it cut out, I'll apply the Mod Podge in a thin layer all over this eagle. Since I made my cut mark, or I cut my paper at the actual split, I have to place my eagle or this image right up at that split mark. Once you have the eagle on, make sure to wait 24 hours before peeling it off. Alright, let's see how this image transferred. Just got to find a good starting spot and slowly peel this back. Oh yeah, check that out. Once the eagle is transferred, you're pretty much done with this build. Just coat it with some poly and you're done. This build was a custom order, as you can tell by the custom union, but the customer also wanted some custom text, so I'm just using my Cameo to cut out some vinyl. And that pretty much sums up this video, guys. I appreciate you guys following along this build. If you guys got something out of it, or if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I plan on sharing some more builds in the future. Thanks, guys.